Back with the guys to talk more about TSN's list of the top 25 NHL players. Once again, this list is based only on performance so far this season. Connor Hellebuyck gets the lion's share of the headlines in Winnipeg, and for good reasons. He's the best goalie in the world right now. But the Jets actually have 4 players on the top 25 list, more than any other team. What does that tell you about this Jets team, Craig?
Well, it tells you why they're one of the top teams in the National Hockey League. And it's not just that they have 4 players performing at elite levels. They have them at the key positions. It goes without saying having Connor Hellebuyck in the net is so key. We got Josh Morrissey on the blue line, a Norris Trophy candidate. Then you have Scheifele and Connor up front. They could be in a race for the Rocket Richard. But the most important thing is if you want to compete for the Stanley Cup, you not only need top-end players, you need them at key positions. And the Winnipeg Jets have these 4 players at really critically important positions for winning. And so it should come as no surprise, and it's no accident that these 4 players are on the top 25 players at this point in time, and the Winnipeg Jets are one of the best teams in the National Hockey League.
Absolutely. You don't start the year 15-1 and rewrite the record books in the NHL without players of this stature, right? And then playing at this level. But what it says to me, guys, is they've done the heavy lifting, and now they got to finish it off, right? They're the pace cars. They've been that in the Central all year. In the West, I would say throughout the country, and obviously Edmonton's been red hot, and the Leafs are going to go to the playoffs, and we'll see what else happens. But Winnipeg has been a great team from puck drop night 1, and they have to close now. I think it's imperative they take all this goodwill, and they take advantage of all these players who are playing at the height with the Hellebucks, with the Morrisseys and the Scheifeles and the Connors, etc. And obviously there's pressure on their head coach, Scott Arniel, to continue to push the right buttons. But you're going to the playoffs, fight for home ice, fight for that top seed, Craig. You got to finish it now because clearly you got the pieces to do it.
Guys, maybe the biggest surprise on the list compared to preseason expectations is Logan Thompson of the Caps. He slides in on number 14. He's been a huge reason for Washington's rise to the top of the East. Hayes, we know he's been passed over for Canada's 4 Nations team this February, but are you a believer in Thompson's rise? Could he actually be the Canadian goalie of the future come this time next year for the 2026 Olympics?
I think he's got to continue through the rest of this season and have a quality playoff performance. If he does, he absolutely will be in the mix. And if he does, and they go on a long playoff run and he keeps playing at this level, he should be the front runner to start next year because of the competition. We're talking Jordan Binnington and Aiden Hill and Montembeault and others. There isn't a Hellebuyck here, right? This isn't the years of Brodeur and Waugh and Fuhrer, etc. It's wide open at this position, Craig. So I think Logan Thompson clearly has established himself as a true number 1 on a great team in Washington. They're going to the playoffs. The expectations are going to be high. If he closes the regular season results and has a really, really solid playoff, doesn't mean he has to win a Stanley Cup, but just be really, really comfortable in the biggest moments, absolutely he'll be in the running. And I wouldn't be shocked if he continues at this pace if he starts game 1 when they get to the Olympic Games.
Yeah, Brian, I couldn't agree with you more. And let's keep in mind, Logan Thompson was part of the Vegas Golden Knights Stanley Cup championship team. I mean, they had to go through a trio of goaltenders, but Logan Thompson was a really good, important contributor to that group. He's been fantastic this year. We talk about Connor Hellebuyck with the Winnipeg Jets. The success of the Washington Capitals is amongst a number of players, but leading the way has been Logan Thompson. And to your point, Brian, about other candidates, there's no other candidate that you say, okay, we'll let him carry the torch. Logan Thompson absolutely should be in consideration as the starter, not to be on the team, not to be part of the consideration, as the starter. Because quite frankly, there's no other candidate that you could turn to and say, okay, he's better than Logan Thompson, because that simply isn't true.
All right, guys, 2 notable names missed out on our list. Sidney Crosby came in at 26th. Alex Ovechkin came in at 28th. Pretty incredible that they're even that close right now, given how long they've been around this game. Craig, we'll start with you. Which of these 2 legends will end up having the better individual season this year?
Well, I don't know. Both these players have been great players individually and collectively with their teams. I don't think you can just say individually. I think Ovechkin has a chance to break the all-time goal-scoring record this season, and the Washington Capitals have a chance to win the Stanley Cup. I think they have to go hand in hand. Alexander Ovechkin, yes, the goal-scoring mark holds a lot to him. Winning a Stanley Cup is more important to him, just like it is to Sidney Crosby. So I think because the Washington Capitals are so good and the Pittsburgh Penguins aren't, it goes to Alexander Ovechkin.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of truth in that, Craig, in terms of him chasing Gretzky. That's what we're going to remember, right? If he ends up chasing Gretzky and catches Wayne Gretzky's record this year, Sidney Crosby, there's nothing he could do to match that. And you top that with the fact that Washington is having that team success. But in terms of individual play, if you isolate their shifts and impact, Sid's more impactful right now. He's still a beast. And defensively, it's dropped off at times with him this year, but he's still scoring big goals at big times. And that Pittsburgh team, I don't think they're going to sniff the playoffs, but don't tell Sidney Crosby that. He continues to fight for it. He continues to play as if he's 25 years old. So I think if you isolate the shifts, I'd go with Sid. But in terms of history and in terms of importance of individual success during the regular season, everything you laid out there about Ovechkin is 100% accurate.
I love these lists because there's so much to debate about it. You can find the full list and plenty more discussion on tsn.ca and on TSN's YouTube channel.